Okay, today I'm going to do my national video on kind of what's going on with the national, my journey to get there, and what I'm going to try to do there and how I get ready for it. There's the national website. Can't wait for next Wednesday. It's right around the corner. And if you've been following my channel, you know that at Strongsville I sold a series of cards, and my goal is to get a Willie Mays rookie. And here's Auction Wire and all the Willie Mays rookies out there, and there's really not the right one out there yet, and I've been looking at pretty much everything out there since Strongsville. So my hope is that I'll be able to find that card at the National. But I made another big move this week to free up some funds. And so what I did, I had, as you know, if you follow my channel, my dad's collection I went through, and he had a lot of Griffey cards, and some of those Griffey cards I went and dropped off for grading at a PSA drop-off submission right before they shut down the standard grading. And when I did that, I also dropped off this Otani card that I had pulled from a blaster pack back in 2018, and I had this card and I love this card, but when I saw that prices were really starting to go up on this card, I decided to get it graded. And if it graded a 10 or a 9, I was going to sell it and buy an 8. It did grade a 10, so I got the upcharge from PSA, which I was happy to pay. I let PSA go ahead and auction it off, and they auctioned it off this Sunday, and it set a new record. And so $14,501 was what I got for this card, which is just amazing. It was a beautiful, perfect card. It's numbered to 569, as you can see on the back picture. If it's going to let me show that, doesn't look like it is. There it is. You can see it's numbered to 569. So I sold this card and I replaced it with an 8. And you can see the 8's not as nice as the 9. Top to bottom centering's a little off. I may look to see if I can find a better centered 8 at some point and maybe upgrade this one. But I wanted to make sure I still had a significant Otani card, and the one that I pulled from a pack. So I netted over $11,000 after the commissions and the fee for grading. And with that $11,000, I'm going to be able to bring that to the National and really work on some cards on my want list. So this is my new Otani card that's coming. And I also noticed this card that seems ridiculously cheap. This is the same rookie card to 569, and so either these Heritage Chrome refractors are significant or they're not significant. If they are significant, Otani sells for 14,000 in a 10. It sells for about 7 or 8,000 in a 9. I was shocked to see that Juan Soto in a 9 sells for $250. So I went ahead and picked this card up too, with part of my Otani money. So far I have sold the 10. I picked up an 8, and I picked up this 9 Juan Soto. So getting ready for the National, here's what I do. I go through and I basically have this want list, and this want list represents all of the cards from the 40s, 50s, and 60s that I don't have yet. And you can see I price them in, these are VCP high, mid, and low, and 6, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and 9. I have to fix that so that the 0.5 show. I've got a bad screen, but it's 6, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and 9. And that's generally what I price out because that's generally what I collect. And so I go all the way from 48 Bowman up through 1977 tops, and there's a lot of the 70s I just have sets and I'm not going after, but the cards that I need of Hall of Famers are on this list. And I've been doing this for years because the internet connection is often spotty at the National. I actually put this on my iPad and I put it on as just a Adobe image, and I can really quickly see what I need by year, scroll through it. And then you can see what I do, and if a card is really, really expensive. So for the 51 Bowman Mantle, no way I'm going to be able to get it in an 8 or a 7 or a 6.5. So I go 5, 5.5, 6, and someday maybe I can get a 5 of this card, maybe a 5.5. It would be something I really, really have to save for. And then here, as you can see, is my 51 Bowman Mays, and these are the VCP prices. And on bigger cards that are more expensive, I put both the SGC to the right and the PSA. And you can see the reason I don't put SGC for every card is you can see that there's not a lot of sales compared to PSA. Only for this 1951 Bowman Monty Irvin, there's only 4 items or four of the five grades have only a single sale in the VCP time period. So there's not a lot of data. Where usually in the PSA you can get a lot of sales with three and get a pretty good um, price snapshot. But for the most part, the SGC, there's just not as many sold. But on a big card like the Maze or the Mantle, I'll put the SGC prices as well. And I'm slab gnostic. I'll buy PSA, I'll buy SGC, I'll buy something different. But these are the cards that I need, and you can see that some of them go down. And then the lowest graded one that I have, um, Mickey Mantle, I have never going to buy it. So my true goal is to have every Bowman and Topps card from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, except for the 52 Topps Mantle. And I just can never see myself paying the money for that card in any grade. So maybe if I ever got to just needing that one, oops, I have a spelling error here. I can fix that real quick. Um, I would buy it, but I don't even have it on my list of what I'm trying to get. I think the lowest graded card I have on here is the last that I need for the Wilson Franks. So if you look at it, the Ted Williams and the Wilson Franks, I'm probably going to settle for a two or a three, and I think a two is actually probably way more than that price now. This card's really expensive, in the last Hall of Famer I need for the Wilson Franks. So this is probably a card that I'm going to get in a two or a three, four at the very highest. So, like I said, on more expensive cards, I put them in the grades that I can afford. But for the most part, it is six, six and a half, seven, seven and a half, eight, eight and a half, because that's kind of what I've collected. Um, so going through this pricing, I've never done this before, but I knew cards had gone up quite a bit this year, and I priced the cards that I own for insurance purposes once a year, and I price them once a year going to the national. I kind of use these prices the whole year when I go to card shows. I don't really update it throughout the year, so I do this exercise once. And what I did to kind of show how depressing of an exercise is this, these are all the cards I need. So this is my someday goal, is to get all these. Okay, moving to this file. This is the first time I've ever done this, but I compared what it would cost to get all of the cards that I need in the Bowman Topps era in a seven, because seven is my most complete data for both years. So it's really the only snapshot I could get. So if I look at all the cards, excluding the 52 Topps Mantle, um, this year, it would cost me 599,000 buying everything at the VCP average, which would never be possible. So you know you're going to have to pay closer to the high on a lot of cards. Last year, it would have been 70 or 473,509. So the depressing part to me is that the cards have gone up 26% in a single year, all the cards I need. And so when everyone is excited about their cards going up, their collection going up, rooting for their own collection to go up, I get that. I totally get that. But I root for cards to stay the same or go down, so that my dream of getting all these cards could someday possibly be realized. And at today's prices, it's very unlikely. At the prices they were 10 years ago, it was a dream that was a little more achievable than it is today. So bring on the correction. I'd love next year to go to the national and them to be down even under this dollar amount. So I root for the card market to correct. I root for cards to go down. I'm a collector. I want to buy all these cards someday, and so I put this pivot together just to kind of see how much everything costs that I still need, and it's quite a bit of dollars, and I'll probably never reach this goal, but it's really really fun trying. Um, so when I go to the national, the way I look at a table is I just look at all the cards on the table, and I look for the nicest cards, the ones that really present well. I don't really look at the grades first. I look at the registration, corner, centering, and I find the cards that I think are really nice. Generally, I know if I have them or not, but if I'm not sure, I look at the list. If I find two or three cards in a case that I like, I'll look at what they have them priced at compared to here and see if the dealer's in the ballpark at all. If they are, then I'll ask to look at those cards. I'll look at them very closely. A lot of them I'll put back because they don't look as nice as I'm looking for. And then the ones that I'm interested in, I try to negotiate a deal. And that's kind of how I do it. So the one card I'm targeting is the maze, and everything else I'm targeting are the cards that I need. And I have a pretty good representative of all but two sets on this list. And the two sets that I don't have a representative sample of are the 52 tops. I have very, very few 52 tops. I only have three of them. I have Ashburn, no, four of them: Ashburn, Wilhelm, Monty Irvin. That is it, three of them. And so I need all of the rest of these. And I have the red back and black back priced. I don't really care which one I get. And I'm not trying to get a master set or anything. But 52 tops is a year that I really need a lot of, and it's probably at least a quarter of the dollars that I still need to buy. And then the other year where there's a ton of stuff that I still need, and that's 48 Bowman. I only have two cards in 48 Bowman. One of them is the Musial, and the other is Bob Feller. So I really kind of need all the 48 Bowmans as well. But every other year, I feel like I've got a decent representative sample of the cards, and I've got some of the bigger names, some of the lesser names, and a good cross section of Hall of Famers. So I'm pretty happy with my collection. But those are 2 years that I really see as holes, and maybe I'll be able to pick up a couple of those at the National. Um, so very excited for it to start. I love getting organized. I love putting this list together. Um, the internet has been better the last 2 years, but I still don't trust it. So I put this on my iPad, and I can easily scroll through the year, see the cards that I'm looking at very quickly, and then see how VCP has them priced in six, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5. And the system works really well for me visually. I have the lines in here so that it's a little cleaner for me to see it really quick. And it's got the year and the card number and the dollar amounts. And then I can do a control F if I'm looking to get to a year, but it really scrolls pretty easily on my iPad. So that's my system. And I am going to be at the National every day but Saturday. Saturday, I am going to um, take my nephew to the Cubs game. So going back to the National website, I do have the early entry, so I will be able to get in early each day. Uh, Plan on picking my pass up either Tuesday or Wednesday morning, so that I can get my pass ahead of time. I made the mistake last year of not doing that, and I missed pretty much the entire early admission on Wednesday by not getting my pass early. So going to spend a lot of time, going to see a lot of friends. I can't wait to see all the fellow YouTubers. There's so many people I've met. I met at Strongsville at the last few nationals at the YouTube get-togethers over the years. So I'll be there every day, but Saturday I will be at the YouTube get-together. I'll be at the Vintage Trade Night. And I'll be hanging out where other people are hanging out. So love to meet you if I haven't yet. If I have met you, I'm hoping to see you again. Seeing the people is just as fun as buying the cards. So if you see me, you can ask me if I found my maze or not. If not, then I will definitely have picked up some other cards, and you can see kind of what I was able to pick up towards my goal of completing the Hall of Famers, the run that kind of Mike and Chris from Missouri have pretty much have. I'm doing it more Mike's way, where I'm getting the leader cards and the managers and the multiplayer cards as well. So it's pretty expansive. It's pretty fun, and my want list is huge. So I never have trouble finding things at a big show that I still need. So hopefully, seeing how I do it might help give you an idea of how you can get organized going in. I think if you've got projects, putting the projects on a list like this and just bringing them in something that you can read easily, an iPad or even your phone, makes it really smooth, and you don't have to worry about an internet connection or go to VCP all the time. Now, let's say I find the 64 Twins rookies, I leave a second card, and I find it in an 8.5 where there's really no sales, right? So then I'd probably go to VCP and I'd see how old this sale is. You can see that the eight already cost that as same as the last 8.5 sale, and you can see the same. The last 6.5 sale is basically the same price as a seven. So that's probably down from now, probably a very old sale. And this one actually went down. This one's a very old sale and it went up. So if there's only one in here, I still will usually go to VCP if that's the grade I happen to find. But I usually can get a pretty good range. Nellie Fox 64 tops is a perfect example. Six should go for between 33 and 40. A seven should go for between 31 and 40. And you see a lot of the lesser Hall of Famers. And I don't like to call anyone a lesser Hall of Famer. If you made the Hall of Fame, you're the best of the best, and you're one of the greatest players in baseball history, and that's why I collect you. But you can see there's a lot of times for the guys that aren't huge guys that the sixes and sevens are virtually the same because there's just not that many of them graded. This Dick Williams, sixes and seven costs just about the same. Tony La Russa, the seven slightly more than the six. Just find some more of these examples. Gil Hodges, 6 and 7, and 6.5 basically cost the same. So it's really shocking that kind of seven's the sweet spot for a lot of the cards that aren't your goats, that a lot of people don't care to collect, that I love. So your Dick Williamses and your Joe Torres and your Gaylord Perrys. There's just not a lot of difference in as you move up in the grades until you get up to 8. So that's a lot of reasons why in the 60s I generally get 8s or 7s. I used to get mostly 8s. It's starting to get to be more and more 7s and 6s now, as the prices have gone up. I think we've all had to adjust how we collect as prices have gone up. A lot of people have done the consolidation movement, but I'm still a really broad collector, and I still want to get all of these cards someday. So just as an incidental, I wrote down where I am on the journey, and um, so what I need for the multiplayer cards. I'm 71% complete, so I need 39% of the tops and Bowman multis. For the 60s, I'm 63%. For the 50s, I'm 64% complete. So I'm over the halfway, over the 60% point in both, which is really a feat for me. It's a lot closer than I thought I might ever get. I sat in the 20%, 30% range for years and years and years. But I've been plugging away at this forever, and will continue to do that. And I love going to the National. I know some people are sitting out this year, but it's my favorite weekend of the year. And it's local for me, but I'm staying at the hotel anyway because the commute is kind of a pain in the butt to get from the city to Rosemont back and forth every day. So I'm actually staying at a hotel even though I'm local. It lets me have more fun and be able to stay for the get-togethers and not worry about having to drive home if I have a couple drinks. And it also lets me go rest during the day because I'm going to be there, like I said, every day but Saturday. So I'll probably do a lot of resting and not stay on the show floor all day. Probably check into work a little bit, even though I'm off, and get a little work done while I'm there. But um, hopefully my system helps you. Hopefully I get to see you there, and hopefully you'll watch my video when I show you what I pick up. But real excited to have freed up the money for the maze, and really excited to free up the Otani money to buy a decent amount of Hall of Fame cards at the show. So thank you so much for watching. A little bit different format for my video. Let me know how you liked it. And remember, if you're not excited to add the card to your collection, you bought the wrong card. And I plan on being excited about every card I buy at the National.